Yo, what up? It's your boy Owen JJ Stone, aka O Doctor, and welcome to another episode of IQMZ Tech. Do not be alarmed, do not be afraid, do not be upset. But Ryan went out and got a webcam, and now he's got a microphone, and you're gonna see his face. So don't throw your phone, laptop, or computer monitor. He is a fine human being, and he's a regular person. He's not a reptilian. So just be careful. You've been warned, because I know you haven't seen him. He's been like, the ghost in the machine, just talking over my shoulder. But go ahead and bring yourself up on their screen there, Ryan, for the people slowly. So, there he is. Oh, and Jason's here.
Poof.
I forgot.
Yeah, he stole my thunder.
Oh, I forgot Jason's here. Jason Howell. If you know me, you know Jason, because Jason is a much more popular version of myself. If you didn't know, we have a secret partnership and alliance, and it's going swimmingly, if I do say so myself, Jason.
Yeah, behind the scenes, peeling back the curtain.
Yes, we are not stepping on each other's toes or anything. It's been a really good backyard partnership, if I do say so myself.
Yes, indeed, I agree.
When you're living in the entrepreneurial world, there's certain things you got to do to get around and get things done. And I reached out to Jason. He's like, "That's a great idea," and I said, "Yeah, that is a great idea."
You know what I've noticed since I'm no longer at Twit and doing my own thing is everything costs just $20 a month. It's just $20 a month. All you need, this service is the only, it's everything that you need. It's just $20 a month. And I swear there's like 7 or 8 of them now that I'm like, every time it happens, I tell myself I'm not going to fall for it again. And then I'm like, oh, well, actually, that would be really handy. It's just $20 a month. Okay, fine.
Well,
So,
when you
say I'm not making money right now.
When you're the captain of the Yellow Gold Studios, you need a lot of things to get things done. That's why personally, I'll call Ryan, I'll call Jason acquaintances, because I can't afford a $20 a month friendship subscription right now. Times are tough. America's got a lot of inflation and shrinkflation going on, so you got to be careful what you say, because next thing you know, I'm locked into a Patreon and I can't get rid of you, because that's the world we're living in right now, and it's actually a good thing too. As much as I hate subscription-based stuff, it's nice to be able to have an option to support people, because Ryan and I have tried to do shows a billion times over, and it was hard to get money. I still have a plan on a new way of getting money. We just got to get subscribers. So if you're watching, go and subscribe on YouTube. It's free to you. Just get me over 1,000, and then I can take over the world. So if you're listening, if you're watching, if you're viewing, Spotify, iTunes, Monkey Chart, wherever you're getting this podcast at, go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button for your boy. And then also you'll find Jason, all his stuff linked in the description. You can go follow him. You're probably, like I said, if you know me, you're already following Jason, a much more popular, slender version of myself. We're both handsome, but I mean, with very, very similar arcs of technological life out here in the world.
So real quick, before we move on though, Doctor, like you just kind of threw it out, like go on to YouTube and subscribe, but you didn't like what's the name of your channel, or should we just assume that it's IQ?
The show starts, it says IQMZ Tech, and I said
we just assume that it's IQMZ.
I assume if they're watching or listening to this, it says it on everything that you're looking at, and then you just click the button. The YouTube's going to be in the description. I'm not a fan of redundancy, and I also hate spamming people. And like I said, once I get over 1,000, I will beat you like a club over the head with what you got to do to help support the channel. But right now, that's the main thing that I need done. And if you see it, you're already here.
You don't need to spam. I'll spam for you by asking.
I appreciate you.
There you go.
Like I said, better version of me, way more professional. And to be fair, for many years, I was the one keeping Leo on ad read on time. You know what I mean? When there's ads to read, I do my job. Right now, we're ad free right now, so we can go willy nilly and do whatever we want. But once the money starts coming in, I will be cracking that whip.
Yes, I don't want to have to do OnlyFans, so please.
That's last resort. That's last resort.
Spring's coming. I'm ready to turn my fans on. I'm not afraid to do it.
You're every fans.
That's right. What's the first story we start with this week?
All right, first story up. Apple has begun testing AI-powered ad products similar to Google's Performance Max as it looks to supercharge its $7 billion ad business. Apple's been testing AI-powered tool for optimizing App Store ad campaigns. Wow. Now AI is taking the jobs of these poor ad executives. Oh no.
Or making their jobs easier. Like I totally get it, and I'm super guilty of this too. Like when we're recognizing and seeing kind of the pathway that AI, at least what I like to call modern AI, is paving. It's easy. And like I said, I've been there too. It's easy to look at it and be like, God, just think of all the things that I don't need to pay someone to do anymore. But my experience with these tools is that I still need to pay someone. Like, just case in point, going into business for myself and doing all of this content creation stuff and everything, I had a need for developing some graphic arts, graphic design, right? I'm not a graphic designer. I've got a little bit of sense about it, but I'm not a designer. And so I went on to ideogram.ai, which is just one of hundreds, if not thousands of generative AI image creation tools. And I, workshopped like different logo ideas, different graphical kind of approaches on different things. And ultimately I ended up coming up with ideas that I then had to go to a friend of mine who is a graphic artist to say, here's what I'm thinking. Make something out of these. And he ended up coming up with a couple of really awesome ideas. I see these tools as tools that make us better at what we do. So I don't see this replacing, the people who are selling ads or figuring out their marketing and everything. I see this as being just another incredibly effective tool in their belt to make them better at doing what they do.
Ryan, you heard that sensible statement. Do you have a rebuttal to the job theft of America?
A little bit. I'm a technical writer by trade. I write documentation, and AI is starting to butt in on my business.
I get it. Totally.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where why hire 20 people to do something when you can have 10 people and an AI subscription for $20 a month? And I think that's good for business, but it to me it is taking a little bit away from the human creative spirit. However, I use AI and I do it professionally because I don't want to make my own outlines. And AI does a really good job of making outlines when I'm starting a project.
Praise. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I hate keywords. I hate staring at a blank page when I've got an idea for something and I got to start from square one. I mean, I can do it and I feel like I can do it effectively, but sometimes I'm not in the mood to do it. Like, give me something to start from and then I'll whittle away from there. And I would never take that information and just go with it 100% without adding the human touch to it. But I totally, and I say all of this not meaning at all to like to minimize anything that you're saying. I understand and I can completely recognize that there is fear attached to the fact that there are these tools that can suddenly do something that for the longest time, if not forever, humans were the ones that did them because computers were not able to do them convincingly in a human voice. And so I totally get both sides. I think we're just in a really uncomfortable moment right now where we're trying to figure out, like, what are they capable of? What are they not capable of? What are we capable of if we learn how to harness that power? Not everybody's going to want to do that. Not everybody's going to be able to do that, but a lot of people are. And I think that paves the way for a lot of new skills coming forward.
So let me just wrap this up before we get to the next story. By the way, this show is heavy on AI and TikTok today because that's what's in the news and that's what everything cares about. But let me tell you something. We're just lucky that your prompt skills are so poured that you got to hire a real human being to get you across the finish line with your logos. Because heaven forbid, if you knew how to work a prompt the way a prompt needed to be worked, you wouldn't even talk to us anymore. You wouldn't even be on this show. We'd have an AI version of you blabbering about how humans got jobs still. And next thing I know, you're not even showing up for podcasts. Let me tell you something. Yes and no. The thing that irks me the most is open source AI, ChatGPT, $20. Like a core group of like 40 humans go and write the perfect prompt.
Yeah.
Put a dress on it, give it a padded bra and a butt lift, and then they charge you $79 a month, and they're taking Ryan's job and regular people's jobs, and then they're doing affiliate links and you get $15. Well, if it's $15 for the commission, man, you're overcharged anyway on something that you're literally getting for $20 a month and you're making bajillions of dollars. Now, I'm not in the market yet, but I'm working on it behind the scenes. Like I said, I too will be in the affiliate lifespan. But right now, it is the wild, wild west. And for people that, like you said, don't know how to use a prompt, don't know what they're doing, there's guys out here just making it easy as pie to go and click and replace a whole lot of people's little dink and dunk jobs. Copilot, I keep bringing it up because that's the thing I want people to start with. If you don't know how to do anything with AI, you just download that from Microsoft and they're going to get all your data for free. But my goodness, is it powerful if you don't even know what you're doing, and then it helps you along so you can learn. So you're right. Sure. There's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing, not involved in it, won't care. They'll be left behind, just like the Industrial Revolution. We used to make things here in America. Now everything's a service business. What are we going to do when AI is doing everything? We're already a service country here. I don't know what we got left, besides doing podcasts and OnlyFans. What's the next story?
We will always have OnlyFans.
We'll always have OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yes. As long as y'all subscribe, you don't have to see me on OnlyFans. Okay.
You're an OnlyFans artist that works in the opposite. Pay me more money and I won't show you the goods.
Won't show you.
That'll work. All right. The next story comes from The Verge. Apple is allowing iOS app downloads direct from websites, but only in the European Union, where Apple got sued into oblivion under its antitrust laws. Apple's planning to make further changes in EU countries to allow some developers to distribute their iOS apps directly from a website. The new web distribution feature will be available with a software update later this spring, according to Apple. Now, in order to do this, there are strict rules that developers have to follow. But even then, why can't we get this in the United States?
Jeez. Yeah. I mean,
go ahead, Jason.
Well, I mean, are we surprised? I'm not surprised at all that Apple will just keep this limited to the EU. And by the way, this is not the only thing that the DMA is kind of encouraging, maybe encouraging is the wrong word, but enforcing Apple to change its ways. It's also, working to create a system that allows users of iPhones in the EU to switch more easily to Android for data portability, something you can do in the opposite direction pretty easily. And we're not going to see these in the US unless the fever pitch around big tech bad in the US continues the way it has in the EU, and we see similar kind of movements, which I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to talk in a little bit about TikTok, and I think this is just kind of the direction. Is just I feel like Apple almost needs to be compelled to bring this to the US if it's going to happen in the US.
Yeah, Ryan,
I think Apple had a good, 2007, 2008 when the App Store was introduced. I think it had a long run where it had an exclusive market share on app downloads. I just don't understand. Like, we were all cheering when the EU brought this and won this case, because we were like, yes, finally, we're getting USB-C. We're getting, our app store opened. And no, it's not happening here.
No.
Well, first of all, golf clap EU. This is like they can't get their finances right. They're still colonizers with a small market cap in the world and trying to hang on to power. But they're doing this. This is God's work right here. This is what needs to happen. Like, and again, everybody's worried about TikTok right now, but Apple has had such a head start on monopolizing and just taking free money that this has to happen. So slowly but surely, the best thing I know about the legal system is precedent. So once this gets cracked open in the EU and things start happening and people start seeing the numbers, people here are going to be like, look, bro, I'm not even developing nothing new for you. You want to do the Unreal Engine thing here? I'm not going out to your little pity party and showing my Unreal cartoon that nobody's going to use because I'm getting robbed here. So maybe if you want me to go and go do the dog and pony show for you, you need to open up things here. It won't happen soon, but this is setting precedent for Apple where they're going to have to do something. And by something, maybe they go and say, hey, you know what? If everybody shuts up, we'll drop it to 20%, because again, they're still making free money. But exactly. They've got to do something, because now that this is happening, and again, thank you, EU, for doing something useful. It sets precedent, and people are going to be able to see the numbers going forward and coming forward. So it's going to make change. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, Apple lost out on being able to do this around the Mac OS. And so it's, what I mean?
Yeah.
Mac OS is the other ecosystem that Apple doesn't have control over. We can install anything we want onto our Macs, and we don't have to pay Apple a single penny for it if we don't want to. And they missed out on that opportunity. So here you go.
We're here now, and I'm excited for the world we live in. Next.
All right. Next, courtesy of Android Authority and a whole lot of ads. Come on, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Qualcomm is teasing a new flagship chip that could power your next smartphone. Well, unless it's an Apple phone. The Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 will be launching, or may be launching, next week. And basically, it is a brand new processor. Everyone should be really excited. It sounds like every other processor that I've ever seen in a smartphone. What is different here, guys?
Jason's
please.
going to tell me that it's lighter, faster, thinner, smarter.
I mean, that's
right?
that's always the case when
Yeah.
you're talking about, premium flagship system on a chip coming from Qualcomm, going to power the next, phase of premium top tier Android smartphones. Yeah, I mean, I don't go very deep on SoC stuff other than to say, okay, it's the next current one. All right, I want it in my phone. I mean, like why wouldn't I? And I think the rumor is that it might have some sort of deeper power control integration with AI apps, which is just kind of the theme of the episode, and the buzzword of 2024 of what we'll see on mobile. It's just a continuation of how can we sandwich AI power into our mobile devices in any which way possible.
What kind of phone are you rocking over there, Ryan?
Pixel 8 Pro that I got last week, right before
Nice.
This brand new generation of chips got announced.
Oh,
that's all right. The Pixels would never have the Qualcomm.
Yeah,
you're right.
Nerds. So, do you like your Pixel there, Ryan?
I like the photograph features. Like, I like that I can erase myself from images. Because I take some ugly photos now and then. And
stop taking pictures of yourself. Then you don't have to erase yourself from them.
Yeah.
So
poor move on you. So I still love Pixels. They do take superior photos. I don't care how much Apple and fanboys try to sell you on that. That used to be my backup phone just for photography. I'm still in the iPhone situation because of my kid. But the thing that kills me the most is since 2019, I don't care what your phone processor has in it. I'm not doing anything on my phone. I just brought it up, but I'm not running Unreal Engine on my phone. I'm not playing Spider-Man on PS5 on my phone. 99% of people aren't doing a damn thing on their phone that it makes a difference with what kind of processor power you're using. The AI, your phone's been running AI and having a crappy virtual assistant for 10 years now. So, I mean, it's not that much different. The power doesn't matter. It's always nice. The only thing that I really care about is battery life for your phone overall. Yeah. If it's doing something that's using lo-fi, whatever, and it extends your battery, it doesn't even matter. But, you got to get the shareholders happy. You got to give us something to complain about on podcasts and tech reviews to write about. So, 2.4% more power and tell me it's 25. We'll never know the difference, right?
Yeah, I would agree. The majority of people don't touch, probably the maximum amount of power that some of these chips, are capable of inside of the phones. But I will say that, of all the use cases of our phone, I don't know where actually making calls sits. It's probably very low on the ladder, but very near the top is photography. And for a wide majority of people would be my guess. I don't have a study to back that up. And so much of photography nowadays involves that kind of behind the scenes AI computational stuff that I'm pretty certain does benefit from these processors in the sense that I've been on phones that do this stuff that are underpowered, and you take a picture and you wait 5 or 7 seconds to see the preview or something like that. And that's just, in my experience, that's unacceptable. Like that is a bummer right from the first time it ever happens. Like, oh God, this is the experience going forward. And I haven't had that on the premium flagship devices that have these excellent processors with maxed out RAM and stuff like that. So I think there probably are ways in which these things do benefit us that we don't necessarily think of immediately when we think of, fastest processor,
So this is why I would mute you right now, because making sense like that annoys me. The best camera people have is the camera they have on them. And yes, 100% of the world has a camera phone, and that's what they use for everyday things, 4K video, all that stuff. It sounds great. But guess what? Some of the poors are just happy to be able to take a picture. And if it takes 5 seconds, again, the best camera is the camera that you have with you. All right. And not all of us can have the snap 30,000. All right. And
the Snappy Dragon
out here talking about the high fidelity with your Pixel 8s. running around here with all kinds of money and stuff like that. Sometimes the pores have to wait for it to develop. Remember when you went and then you'd flap it for 30 seconds?
Oh, yeah. I remember flapping it for 30 seconds.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
We're still way ahead of those times. Even with the slowest snapdrappy. Okay. All right. Next story.
Now, wait. Owen, where
what?
was all this since when you did that surprise episode earlier this week that I wasn't invited on, by the way, where you were talking about Nikons or toys and all of this? See, the reason he didn't invite me on that episode is because I'm a Nikon user. And he wanted to make fun of Nikon for about an hour.
If you have a Nikon, I assume one of two things. You're uneducated, underfunded, or you just didn't know any better. And I thought better of you as a person. And I didn't want to embarrass you like I'm doing right now. But if you want to, Nikon has got credibility now. Nikon went out, like I said, they put one of those sexy dresses on. They bought Red Digital, and they're going to destroy Red Digital. And in 20 years, people are going to be talking about, remember Red Cinema? What's Red Cinema, Grandpa? And it's just going to be a Nikon. It's going to have a yellow Z on it. And good for you as a Nikon user. But just know, Nikons are potatoes because it came out in a meme and it stuck and it's fun.
I'm just jealous. I miss my Canon. I really do.
Canon is life, Canon is life, and Sony. Next story.
All right, next story. This is one we actually covered or touched on last week, but I wanted to get Jason's take on it. OpenAI basically coming back on Elon Musk and saying, "Hey, we have receipts, dude. You were cool with us being profitable, and you were cool with everything we were doing." While Elon's out there saying OpenAI is not playing fair. What do you think about this story, Jason?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on this. Like on one hand, I feel like, as you know, I don't normally find opportunities to admit, but on one hand, I can understand where Elon Musk is coming from. If they were saying from the very beginning, hey, this is for the good of humanity, this is not, for profit, blah, blah, blah. And there's, you've got it down in writing, and this is, part of the agreement, part of the understanding. And this is actually something that Elon Musk was completely sold on and feels very strongly about and everything. Like, I can understand if it might be like a rug pull to suddenly see where OpenAI is at this point, making insane amounts of money. They say kind of, or actually, Elon Musk says, they're moving towards AGI if they haven't already. I think they Musk even said ChatGPT is, at the point of AGI at this point, which I think is pretty ridiculous. Yeah. But at the same time, like, yes, they said those things, but I don't know. Where is it? Like, is it written down? Is this an agreement? I don't know. It's a long time. Like, I don't know. At a certain point, companies got to make money. I don't know. I think I'm just torn on it. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I don't want to. Maybe part of it is I don't want to completely agree with Elon Musk, and I don't know that I necessarily do.
That's what it is. Because what I likened it to, when I brought it up, was when Google had their moniker "Do No Evil," and I'm like, bro, you're a corporation. All you do is evil. Everything you do is evil. But saying "Do no evil" puts you in a really bad spot when somebody wants to bring that up. So them coming out and saying how they started, Elon's got a point, but also at the same time, Elon, you just want to capitalize on it. You
absolutely
want to capitalize on it. So it's not like you want to open it up for humanity, for it to be humanity. To what I said earlier, other people are making money off of the system itself. If I make a script writing app and it's running on ChatGPT, and all I have to pay is $20 a month for source, and then I'm charging 10,000 people $10 a month or $50 a month. I mean, at some point, the resources for $20 is getting overtaxed, and I'm not making my proper share of money off of it. That's not okay either. So what Elon's saying is like you said, it really is a 50-50, and not like an Elon doesn't take anything away from that. I just don't know how you come to a middle ground on that, especially when he's looking for his own way to capitalize on it. Like, 100%. I'm not going to just give it away to you for free so you can go do what everybody else is doing. You don't even want to pay the nickel and dime price, because a lot of people are using this app right now to create businesses on the back end of it. And that costs money. That takes resources. I don't see Elon giving away a free car every month.
Yeah.
You know
well, And the news this week about Elon Musk putting out a tweet or a Twix or whatever you want to call it, saying simply that Grok, which is his XAI LLM that has yet to be released, will be open sourced, which kind of seems like see, I'm doing it. Where are you guys? I'm doing the open source thing. And, meanwhile, we don't even have a product. We'll see if Elon Musk even delivers. He has a habit of saying things that don't happen. But
and to be fair on that, he took away open source from Twitter in general. So you yourself took away
super true
API. So, I mean, like you said, it's a 50-50, like, just shut up, please. Like you make no sense. And then on top of it, you kind of do. And just a last note, he did an interview, had a deal with Don Lemon to be like, what's the guy who went out to go see Putin?
Oh, who?
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson does a show. It's like got a partnership with X, and it can play like 2 hours, whatever, it gets promoted. So Don Lemon signed some kind of deal with that. His first interview was with Elon, and Elon agreed to it. They had a partnership going. He sat down, did the interview, and then Elon's like, yeah, I'm pulling you off of X because I don't like the way the interview went. And he's like, I thought you said you open for free speech, and we talked and you did the interview. You answered the questions. I thought it was fine. I thought no, you're off X. I'm not doing a partnership. And I'm like, good job, Captain Free Speech. Good job, Captain. I need things to be open. When you close down open AI and you take away all kinds of Twitter products that people love to use and have been using their whole lives just so they can go to the website, which is faulty at best. So anything to add on that, Ryan?
I think that it's all crazy. I think Elon wants to be a disruptor in whatever he does. He wanted to disrupt the car industry, the payment industry, the space industry. He wanted to disrupt with AI, but he walked away from OpenAI. He was an early investor, if I recall, and he walked away from it. And then OpenAI became a disruptor after he'd already left. And it's like, I think he's just kind of jealous. It's sour grapes at this point.
Exactly.
He's not happy being the richest man on planet Earth. He wants more.
No.
It's not good enough.
For all the tea in China, once a meteor hits, we'll see how rich everybody is. Next story.
Next story is a big one. The House has passed the TikTok bill that could ban the app in the U.S. Now, the Senate is not so sure if it's going to pass there or not, but the House voted at 352 to 65 to tell ByteDance that they need to divest in TikTok. What do you guys think about this one?
Jason, before you say anything, I just want to remind you that TikTok is a company built, made for, and owned by the Chinese Communist Party, and we will not stand against free speech. Now, I understand that free speech is for Americans only. It doesn't entertain Chinese companies that are coming to here brainwashing our children. The free speech of you going on that app on your own, downloading it, watching stuff on your own choice, that free speech doesn't matter because it's the communist Chinese corporations trying to destroy America from within. Now, be careful what you say, Jason. Now, go ahead and say it.
You're on the record. You're officially on the record in the form of a podcast. Well, I think, first of all, I feel the whiplash that I think a lot of people felt this week when suddenly this reemerged and is kind of moving
Groundhog's
Day
from 2 years ago.
Super Groundhog's Day. A little weird because now suddenly Trump is like, no, I actually like TikTok, and it's like, which just tells me he's supportive when he sees that it serves his influence, and he's opposed when it helps him politically to be opposed.
Yes,
but nothing new there. I mean, I think at the end of the day, where is the there? And this is a question that keeps coming up. There's a lot of people saying that it poses this for threat and the potential of that and everything. But there is nothing other than, oh, well, China bad, so let's get rid of this app that we're afraid of because it's one of the most dominant, powerful social media apps with the younger generation right now, and we didn't create it. And so I don't know.
Ryan, same warning.
Yeah, like
Chinese
I said,
Communist Party.
Well, you know what? Oh, hold on.
I forget what politician kept saying that today, but he said it like 42 times.
You have a suitcase full of money?
Yeah.
You want to meet Owen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, Owen, what do you think about TikTok? What was that?
I love TikTok. I love TikTok. So it's funny because the bottom line is that they can't do the things that they do. And I brought this up again, not to bash or love on Elon, but when Elon comes out and he says, hey, I saw that the government had unfettered access to certain accounts and they were just turning stuff over to the government. And I'm no longer going to do that. Now, he never released what was given to the government with his whole secret dossier of information. But
Twitter
I do believe that the government has things going on when they bring Mark Zuckerberg in there and he looks like Data trying to sweat through a suit and explain what the company does. When the government comes to him and says, I want X information, he says, yes, sir, Mr. Government, sir. NSA here. Backlog in. Instagram, sure. All the models are on page 4. All the tech people are on page 5. Come on in. And TikTok is like, yo, man, you want to really believe in free stuff? Go ahead and be free. We're going to show you turtles and weird stuff. Over here in Asia, though, we get STEM programs. We get other language lessons. Like TikTok over there is completely different. I do understand that. I do know that over there it's like Sesame Street educational programming. Over here, I saw a guy fall in a aquarium with a bear and fight the bear and survive. And that thing had 40 million views on TikTok. And I'm like, whoa. So yeah. I do understand that the filters are different. But at the same time, we have the choice to watch those things. And just because TikTok is dopamine drug better than Instagram or Twitter is doing, and you as the government can't access that information, that's what's killing you. The government at its core just wants data. So when they say the Chinese are taking our data, they're not taking anything. We're giving it to them. Mm-hmm. Johnny, Mark, Susie have signed up. They clicked whatever, what's the terms of service, and they're in there. They didn't. The Chinese Communist Party isn't dropping off TikTok at your front door and running away, ding dong ditch style. So I understand what they want. They want access to that information, and they're mad they can't get it. Absolutely. And they're also mad that when the guy goes on and says, oh, I tracked Nancy Pelosi's stocks, and here it is live on the thing, and nobody could shut that down. When Elon was mad about the guy putting his flights up there and the guy put up where he's traveling, everybody was mad. Hey, it's not really an issue, bro. It's public information. Now, when he went and did it to Taylor Swift, everybody got upset. I'm like, this dude's been doing it to rich people for forever. He does
it's his thing.
He does Taylor Swift, and he's a criminal. He's against women, and I was like, what is going on? So it's always about who you're doing it to and who you're taking the information from. And the government just wants a slice of that pie. And if it was an American company, they could bully them into getting any information they wanted, which is a real thing against my free speech. It's just weird.
Yeah. And I think also what's interesting to me is, okay, so this happens, let's say, because it's, it still has to pass through the Senate and actually be implemented. And I don't know what the time framing would be on that. Is that like the next, 6 months or whatever? I'm not sure. But say that all happens. And now suddenly what does that mean here in the US? That essentially means that if you go onto the Play Store on your Android device, you go on the App Store on your iOS device, you won't be able to find TikTok anymore. If you run a VPN, can you? If you just go to the website and download the app, which I'm sure TikTok allows for, and if they don't yet, they most certainly will once this happens. At least I know on Android, it's pretty easy to sideload APKs and to take an app and put it on there.
They got it ready to go on Apple too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, and especially when you consider who are the primary, like the bulk of the users, if you had to like take an age range, I mean, these are some smart, technologically like adept kids essentially and teenagers and young adults who have been using this, have developed a very unhealthy habit around TikTok for a number of years, that they aren't just going to be like, well, I guess I can't use TikTok anymore. Like there are ways. I don't think that this actually does a lot other than make it just a little bit more inconvenient.
It's a whole thing. Go ahead. Oh, it's a whole thing. You make something the forbidden fruit and everybody wants it even more.
100%.
And not me personally, I don't use, like I said last week, I don't like using TikTok because I'm too old and I'm too set in my ways. I prefer Reddit You know, I'm of that generation. My wife, though, holy moly, she loves TikTok.
Oh yeah, you can burn
And
hours.
she learns so much stuff on TikTok. And every day, it's almost like when Pinterest first came out. Every day she comes up, hey, I saw this thing on TikTok. Let's do this big arts and crafts project. And every day there's a new TikTok craze for arts and crafts. And let me tell you, we have a lot of arts and crafts going on in our living room right now because of TikTok. I don't like TikTok.
Look, if it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't have learned a couple of weeks ago that when I'm cracking an egg into a bowl and a little piece of the shell goes into the egg and I want to get it out and I put my finger in there and it keeps like going away from my finger, all I have to do is run my finger under the tap water and boop, it comes right out. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you for that.
I'm single, so I don't have to worry about it. But TikTok is ruining lives with honey-do lists. Every day, men are coming home in America wondering why they need to build a shelf upside down in the bathroom hanging from the back of the toilet, and they don't know why. So TikTok is doing a disservice to a lot of men out here in the world. I'm safe because I'm single. Remember that guy in Montana, or I think it was Montana, they banned TikTok, and then the Wyoming governor banned it from all official.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you got to have your mom's permission to have it. You got to be over 12 years old. Like, I'm like,
what exactly did that do? Yeah.
Like, so you had this, what was it? Bill makes it illegal for the entire state with penalties up to $10,000 a day for entry to Apple. And like, again, who's enforcing this? You know, you approve this bill in your state and it does nothing. Because again, unless somebody snitches on themselves or they get in a car accident and their phone pops open and there's TikTok on it, we got you. Like,
yes.
It's just weird stuff that they're trying to do.
I planted TikTok on you.
Yeah.
It's bound to work.
You know, it's just like, hey, look.
What I don't understand is the flip-flopping on this thing. Like, it's just constant. Like, Trump was for a year, even when he was president, he was like, ban TikTok. We're going to make him sell TikTok. And he couldn't do it. And then it's like the dog that caught the car. You know, it's like he finally got a bill to pass. And he's like, whoa, wait, no, I didn't mean that. Because now he doesn't have this big, bad enemy out there to talk about.
Well, also he's running for presidency and he needs a base and he needs people to whip up.
And there's a lot of activism happening on TikTok right now. And there are a lot of platforms that aren't air quotes MAGA friendly.
Well, exactly.
And TikTok is. Well, I mean, TikTok doesn't prohibit MAGA content explicitly.
TikTok actually has freedom of speech, even though it's from the Chinese Communist government.
Because the Chinese government knows this is how you disrupt from the inside, man.
Look, I'll tell you, between them and the Russians, I'm just going to get my passport and skedoodle. That's all I'm going to do. I would prefer that these guys would come out and, stop taking money from BlackRock and letting corporations buy up every single family home in America. But forget that. We've got to stop TikTok. We've got to stop TikTok. You can't afford to live, eat, or breathe, but we've got to stop TikTok. They don't care about America. It doesn't matter. So it is what it is. It's all dog and pony show. Next story. It's probably the same story because TikTok's ruling the world right now.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're talking about AI again. This is the last story of the day. From the Wall Street Journal, they're talking about the underdog, Jason Palmer, who's an impact investor and venture capitalist, actually beat Joe Biden in the primary in American Samoa, which, whether or not that counts, I don't know. But yeah, and he apparently did it using AI. Basically had AI pretty much run his campaign for him.
I mean, this dude had like very little money to invest in the American Samoa market. I think $5,000 he spent on the campaign there. And, I don't think he had any sort of, thought or idea that he was ever going to beat Biden anywhere, in the US. But he did it nonetheless. And I just, what I found interesting about this is, he took this technology and created a chatbot in his name and in his likeness. Even had like a animated photo, is my understanding. So when you're chatting with him, a virtual version of him, called Palmer AI, and they fed it all of his, his talking points, his previous speeches, basically, the whole kind of data set around who he is, what he believes, what he stands for. And, they used it in this market, and sure, it's American Samoa. I don't know how difficult it is to win, win this sort of campaign in American Samoa. I've never done it before, but I give him props. He gave Biden a run for his money, and all because he utilized an AI chatbot in his name to do it. And I think, really at the end of the day, the most important thing about this isn't a story where, hey, he used AI to manipulate and blah, blah, blah. He was very specific, or his team was very specific in the emails and text messages that they sent out, that this was an AI bot. This was AI generated conversation. And, I'm sure some people didn't read it because they don't read things. Like they decided not to actually, look into it. But my understanding is it was at the top and the bottom of all the correspondence. He made his disclosures, used the technology effectively, and it worked. I just think it's interesting.
Ryan,
I for one, welcome our AI overlords. I don't know. I had never heard of the guy.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him either.
I like to think that I'm a pretty political person. I mean, I'm listening to political podcasts all day, driving my wife crazy. We both work from home. But it does kind of make me wonder, if AI will have much of an impact in 2024, but for sure by 2028, it'll have a huge impact. I mean, they already have fake Joe Biden phone calls going out, telling people not to go vote. So I just kind of wonder where this is all going. It's a little frightening, but at the same time, kind of exciting, because maybe it'll spread the word about these third-party candidates and what they're into.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I totally agree. Like, I'm really curious to know, like 4 years down the line, what does the next major election cycle look like? At the same time, I remember 4 years ago, and we were talking about a lot of the same stuff, like deep fakes are going to change politics and elections. We're going to be lied to every which way, and we aren't going to be able to decipher reality from fiction and blah, 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 and all these things. And I mean, that's what we're still talking about. And there might be moments where things like that happen tangentially, but I don't think that we're seeing this like major wave of everywhere you look, it's, a fake person. I mean, having said that, like there's technologies like Sora, OpenAI's Sora from a couple of weeks ago, this, video generation, and what it's creating right now is pretty damn convincing. 30-second long, created entirely from words, very convincing, realistic looking video. And if that's where we are now, that's the question we always ask ourselves. If that's where we are now, and it only took 2 years to get here from the time we first started, hearing about some of this stuff, where's it going to be the next 4 years? And I think that's always the big question mark, but I don't think that it necessarily means that it's all going to be bad.
I think local elections, I think it's going to be huge with these low budget local elections. The tech savvy are probably going to have a huge wave in the next 4 years. I think that will happen.
So local's important.
If you made it this far, let me just come on and real close. Let me tell you something. There's a thing called robocalls. Been doing it a very long time. Tricking people, getting your grandma on the line and getting $15 out of her, telling her not to go out to go vote. I mean, what's old is new again. And personally, I don't care who you like. I don't care if you're independent. I don't care if you're a right or a left or a Republican. It doesn't matter. Every single politician lies to you. They look you in their face and they look real, but they're lying. They have these things called lobbyists, people that pay them money, and whoever pays them the most money is who they need to trick you into believing it's coming to save America. So whether it's AI, CGI, MPI, ATMI, All that matters is the money, because the money controls everything, and none of it's real. It's all fugazi. So the tech doesn't matter. AI, robocalls, like, come on, grandma. They've been doing the same thing for a long time because it works. Redlining, moving districts around, trying to get you not to vote. So don't be afraid of your overlords, because it's all the same thing. I know Jason just said a whole lot of things eloquently, and Ryan did too. And that article makes a whole lot of sense. That guy went out there and gave Joe Biden a run for his money. And guess what? A lot of people have been doing the same thing for a long time with a stamp and an envelope. So a lot of dumb people live in this world and in this country, and they will be tricked, fooled, or hoodwinked no matter what kind of systems they're using. But you stay diligent. You stay focused. You're better than that. If you're here, I believe you're an educated, smart person, unless you have a Nikon and you're doing the best you can in this world right now with shrinkflation and inflation. I'm just saying, I appreciate you being here. Jason, thanks for the time. We're going to get you out with a good 10 minutes to spare.
Oh, good, because bedtime is like right around the corner. I'm getting so tired.
I keep telling you to check that outside wall. You better, you know what I mean? Make sure everything's still cool.
It's okay. It's okay. It's still cool.
I don't trust the kids. You know,
I don't think the house is on fire yet.
You know what I mean? So what do you want to promote out here in these streets? What do you got going on?
Well, I think the thing I probably should promote is yellowgoldstudios.com. Doing my own content on YouTube, podcasts, podcast with Jeff Jarvis, actually, from This Week in Google, and many other things called AI Inside. So we talk about artificial intelligence on a weekly basis. So that is an audio podcast, but we also stream that to my YouTube channel, which is found at yellowgoldstudios.com. So go there. I got some reviews. I'm working on some other types of content to put. You know what I find myself saying a lot in the last couple of months? Content. It almost starts at a certain point. It starts to feel like a bad word, like a dirty word, like, oh, I'm going to make some more content. Well, that's what I'm doing. That's my life.
Well, we are in the OnlyFans market, trying to get Ryan off, trying to get me on. Ryan at PC Gazer, and his link to stuff will be in there. Jason is actually doing a lot of yeoman's work. He's got his own studio now. I got my own little black box too. I live over here.
You do.
But Jason's out here spending time with people, making me feel guilty. Like, he just does a live just to hang out with the people. Maybe I should come down off my mountaintop and hang out with the commoners once a week for half an hour, 20 minutes, as long as I can stand. But, if you follow Jason and you ever wanted to talk to him, he's accessible to the people. He's not going to touch hands or kiss your baby directly, but you can get to him on one of the live sit-down chats. He's out here with Jeff Jarvis, one of my favorite human beings on the planet Earth. I got to actually check in with him because I told him he had to watch a show. He's had 2 years to watch it. I need to find out if he watched it or not. But he is a smart, educated, perfect individual. Makes Jason look 10 times better than he looks. Like how Jason is making me and Ryan look better right now. Jeff is out here doing 10x for Jason. That's why when you're smart,
so true. So true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out here, Jeff Jarvis and Jason. That's why I got Jason here. You see what I'm saying? Doing the best we can with what we got. But make sure you follow, again, IQMZ Tech. That's the show you're watching. If you're already here, you already know that. But all the links will be in the description below. And again, the most important thing that you could do for us right now is click the subscribe button, because I'm trying to get us over 1,000 to keep Ryan off of OnlyFans, and so he could keep buying headphones. You see all those headphones in the back? He's addicted to it. I don't know what's going on, but his hearing's still good, but he's addicted to headphones, and I got to start feeding that addiction and paying for it. I appreciate you taking the time, Jason Howell, and running away from the children in the middle of the night and hanging out on the show. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching.